Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bik. This afternoon, I want to mention, alhamdulillah, with Black American Muslim opinions and this particular YouTube channel, which is my old YouTube channel with Black American Muslim opinions. We have reached now, alhamdulillah, 1,600 subscribers, which over the last few months, the last maybe 2 or 3 months, alhamdulillah, I reached, starting out with Black American Muslim opinions, talking about Black issues. I had about 1,000 subscribers. In the last maybe few months, last 2 or 3 months, I got today an extra 600 subscribers to this channel. So that means that these topics are getting people's attention, talking about Black social issues with an Islamic solution. Um, with now reaching 1,600 subscribers, and inshallah, hopefully we'll be able to get 2,000 subscribers soon. I want to continue the cause of talking about Black social issues within the United States and the African diaspora, but I want to come with Islamic solutions or from an Islamic point of view. Um, Myself coming from a background of being a Muslim and who introduction into seeking Islamic knowledge was through the Salafi Dawah here in the West. And one of the first things of Salafi Dawah within the U.S. coming from a Pacific uh, point of view of this version of Salafi Dawah is that talking about Black issues is a no-no, it's a taboo. So for a lot of African American Muslims, especially from the Salafi community, a lot of them don't want to talk about Black social issues in the open. And I started talking about Black social issues after the death of George Floyd, especially when I noticed that the place where George Floyd was killed at, that particular supermarket or mini market, right on the side of it was a masjid. And unfortunately, in many impoverished Black communities, there's masjids everywhere, but it's not solving the social issues of the African American Muslims, in particular in the African American Salafi communities, where they are in these communities, in some cases, in the Black community, where there's drugs, liquor stores on every block, churches by the liquor stores, Black people in poverty selling drugs, but some of the African American Salafi communities are busy refuting other imams and other masters in other community, but they're not. Some of them are not addressing the social ills that plague their community. So I start talking about Black social issues because I'm no longer following that trend. I'm not ashamed of being Black. Talking about Black social issues and dealing them with the Islamic solution does not go against Islam. And for the time I have been speaking about these things, being very vocal about it, I have some people in our community who are Salafi have reached out to me. Some brothers and sisters told me they feel the same way. Some brothers also, I see they involved in Dawah. They have reached out to me and told me, yes, they agree with a lot of things I'm saying, but they don't want to talk about it on their platforms because a lot of times they're catering to non-African American Muslims, unfortunately, because African American Muslims do not financially support their own Black imams, especially in communities where the people do not have money, right? So unfortunately, a lot of the African American Salafi brothers that I bump into who are Black, that they are in communities where the majority of their supporters are not Black. So they don't want to talk about Black people issues to not isolate those people in the community who are most likely non-Black and who most likely might have anti-Blackness with them. So I'm not really giving brothers too much excuse on why they don't want to talk about Black issues on their platform. And when they're Black and they're American, And a lot of times, the people who they're catering to who are not black, a lot of them have anti-blackness with them also. So, alhamdulillah, we reached 1,600 subscribers now on this channel. Um, and I am definitely grateful for the subscribers. I'm definitely grateful for doing as much as I can. This Ramadan, inshallah, I might be out. I might be down through the month of Ramadan for ibadah, and I kind of going to stop too much videos or lives during Ramadan. But I'm trying to, alhamdulillah, make some connections with some other YouTube channels that are from the grassroots who want to collaborate more with our channels. So I'm going to be pushing that more now, collaborating with other brothers out there in our community who wants to talk about Black social issues. So I made that move. I had a discussion with some brothers the other day and how we could start networking with each other with our YouTube channels to reach a bigger audience and to be consistent on social media talking about Black social issues from the Islamic perspective. Um, Today's topic, I want to talk about today, is topic for today, which is how white supremacy prevent Black street vendors. And this is something I wanted to briefly talk about. How in white supremacy, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, how white supremacy in the US prevent Black people from not just having business in their area where they flood in the Black communities, Asians, Arabs to have business, and the bank, the city don't help the blacks within that community to have their own businesses where they live, and they flood within the Black community businesses that are immigrant owned, non-Black people owned, who take out money, resources from the Black community and do not invest or put back the money they make from Black people. They don't put it back in the Black community. In some cases, like here in New York, where I'm from, when you go into the Black communities and you see the immigrant community who have business, whether it's Asians who have business in the Black community or Arabs, in particular Yemeni in New York, who have business in the Black community, not just 2 or 3 stores, but 4 or 5 stores, how they don't even hire people who live in those communities who are Black and Latinos, in most cases, how they don't even hire them to work in their businesses. So they don't give money back to the Black community. They take out money from the Black community. They don't hire Black people who live in these communities to work in their businesses. And then on top of that, they get the support from the government to do this. But on top of that, local governments, local city reps, local politicians, and local law prevent Black people from street vendoring where they live. And this is very common here in New York, where people who are Black and Latino, they cannot street vendor, get licensed for street vendoring in New York. They only give street vendoring license to Africans, immigrants who come from Africa, based on negotiation between their embassies and the US government, that a certain amount of people from their country allowed to have vendoring license, and then people who are veterans and widows of veteran are only allowed to get vendor license in New York. And this was a pushback during the mayor, during the time Mayor Bloomberg, from when it passed from Giuliani, the racist Giuliani, to Bloomberg. another racist Jew, Bloomberg, who stopped people from vendoring in the street, get the city giving out vendoring license. So in the same black community that have majority of blacks who live in these communities, and the businesses within these communities are not black owned, they also prevent black people from vendoring on the streets where they live legally. They legally prevent black Americans or citizens for having vendor license or any type of license to vendor on the street. And then when they give out vendor license, you will find in New York, when they give out vendor license, that the majority of people with vendor license in the black community are Arabs or Arabs or Arabs or Arabs with these little street cart food carts. The Arabs who have street carts to sell food. So they don't allow black people to vendor on the street. They don't give licenses to black people, but they give immigrants who are not Americans, they give them license to vendor on the street. And then on top of that, black people don't have the business in the communities, the storefronts. And then the government on top of that are not giving out vendor license to black people who are American citizens. They're not giving them vendor license right here in New York. And this is how white supremacists keep black people in the predicament that they are in. Rather yet, they don't want to give you the vendor license. They don't want to give you the vendor license to be your own businessman. And this is one of the issues of capitalism, because capitalism likes the subordinate work class. It likes the subordinate work class. So they want you to go to school, get a college degree on a student loan with interest, then go get a job for a corporation or the city, right? Which is not going to give you a high salary. And then you have to pay very expensive rent or high interest rate mortgage because you're a black. Yeah, they charge black people more interest rate in the mortgage. If you live black and you're a poor neighborhood, most likely you pay more rent prices than the average white person who is renting. So you have to pay all this student loan, high rent, high interest rate on mortgage to work for a company that's most likely white owned, and they won't give you a vendor license for you to vendor where you live, and neither will they give you the bank loan to open up a business where you live. But they will allow the immigrants who are Asian, who are Arabs, who are Latino also, to come to the black neighborhoods and to have all the business from the stores and the vendoring, all the immigrants, but won't allow the black Americans who live there, who are the customers, who everybody getting rich off of, they won't allow them to even vendor on the street, to have their own small business vendoring on the streets. This is how wicked and evil this government is. And black people are here talking about voting for the Democrats in the next election, but Democrats haven't gave you nothing. The Republicans are not going to give you nothing, and the Democrats are going to give you nothing. And nobody, especially here in New York, is challenging. No black people nowhere in New York is challenging these things. Why all the vendors in New York are immigrants, and they're all in black neighborhoods and black communities, but the black people can't have no vendor license, can't have their own business? Come on, man. This is white supremacy at work. This is white supremacy at work. That's all this is. White supremacy at work. And one thing about the capitalist system, who is the mechanism the mechanism of white supremacy. White supremacy economic system is capitalism. Capitalism was invented by Europeans, whites. So in capitalism, they don't want to promote ownership, have your own business and business partnership. They want to promote the labor class. So you'll find black people, they're going to school, they're getting student loans, not to be their own entrepreneurs and business owners, but to go work for a company, a job, a firm, a hospital, a clinic, not about owning and controlling industries, but working for industries that are white owned. So white people are getting rich off of your subordinate labor. They want to create capitalism, and white supremacy creates the lower or the working class system. That's all they want for black folks. We are the consumers. We are the low wage workers and consumers. They don't want to promote black people being entrepreneurs and controlling their economics. And that's why you don't see black people only own their own business in black areas, but you'll find all the immigrants set up shop and business in the black community, and the government don't even allow black people to get vendor license. Rather yet, they give it to the immigrants who come into this country. And this is for New York. New York is more segregated than anywhere down south. New York is even segregated. In New York, in the black community, it is also segregated. When it comes to business and finances within New York City, in black communities, is even segregated. When it comes to economics, growth in the black community, all the finances and the business in the black community are owned by immigrants, non-black people. Then the Democrats in New York give you the image that New York is for diversity and people of color. No, it's not. It's not for black people. It's not for black Americans. I could go any black community, any black neighborhood in New York City, and you won't find no business owned by black people, but you'll find immigrants having business, even the vendoring on the streets. And then when black people try to vendor on the streets, they get harassed and arrested. Harassed and arrested. So you'll go on the strip, people are vendoring in places in New York, right here in New York, people are vending on the street. The immigrants have the business license, and the black people, black Americans whose ancestors built this country, black Americans who built New York City, black Americans who built New York City don't reap none of the benefits. This is white supremacists at work. Democrats, Republicans, all of them are full of crap. All of them are the same. It's the same system. I don't care if, because here in New York, we have a black mayor. No matter if the face is black in politics, is a black face representing white supremacy, just from a different school of thought. And this is supposed to be New York, somewhere that's very diverse. Very diverse. I was watching a black channel, a black conscious channel, brother Uncle Phil, the African Diaspora News. I think I'm pronouncing it right. And I'm watching one of his clips where he visits Times Square here in New York. And I'm saying to myself, this brother, he must, Uncle Phil, I respect him. I like his work. But I said, Uncle Phil, you come to New York all the time, but you don't notice these things in New York. I like, Uncle Phil, why you don't, when you come to New York, this is the Black News, Africa Diaspora News Network. When you come to New York, why you don't visit in New York, because you be in Manhattan, why you never visit the Afrocentric locations in Harlem, New York? So they could talk about all the things that happen in these democratic states. I notice you visit other places, other countries, and you see in these other places and country how Africans are doing, or the Africa diaspora are doing. But I notice you never do this when you visit New York. Don't be fooled by New York, by Times Square, that you thinking black people's getting the piece of the apple. Oh no, they're not. Someone said I stopped being a consumer 10 years ago. I don't buy anything. They're selling, especially entertainment. I use cash where I can before they digitalize the whole money system. With being a black consumer, whoever produce holds the power. Consuming doesn't give you power. And this is something that our people don't understand. Our people don't understand this. I just want to highlight somebody else. Open source tool, research, race, and IQ. I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that. Brother Bilal, he says, fact, Aki, what one black guy in the UK has done has opened restaurants, but staffed them entirely with non-black people. Like, yeah, you find these things, yes, definitely, but that could be a number of reasons why. That could be a number of reasons of why. But here in New York, even in black communities are segregated. Within the black community, when you look at the economics and finances, who's getting all the resources in the black community? You'll find that majority of people getting the resources in the black community here in New York and other places in the US are non-blacks, or non-blacks. And here in New York, the same immigrant who own the business in the black neighborhood don't hire black people who live in the neighborhood to work there. Then when you look to vendoring, like on the street, the city don't give vendor license to black folks. They give vendor license to a lot of immigrants. For black people, they make a lot of red tape and stipulation. For example, you have to be a veteran or widow of a veteran. And then you have to be, and then when it comes to vendor, you only could vendor in certain locations. I hope somebody addressed the mayor of New York and the governor of New York about this, because when you talk about white supremacy and economics related to black folks, because February just passed, and we know that February in the US is Black History Month, and here in New York, they trying to ignore Black History Month. And it's supposed to be a democratic state, a very diverse state. There's nothing diverse about New York. New York is as segregated as Texas, Alabama, Mississippi is. Segregation in New York is real. And when you see the segregation in New York, you see it in the school system. You see it in the housing system, You see it in the economics and finances. Even in the black community, it's segregated when it comes to economics and finances. Who own all the business? The immigrants own all the business in black communities. The black people don't own the business, and they're not even allowed to vendor in the streets. And then they talk about here in New York, there's a lot of crime, a lot of gun violence based on gang activities and crime, because you give the people who are black no access to wealth. Now, I had a conversation with my son yesterday. He's 13 years old, right? And I was telling him right here in New York, telling about his bad grades in school. I was like, yo, when you have bad grades in school, the system got something set up for you, for black kids. I said, right here in New York, right here in Manhattan, they are building the second largest building in New York is going to be a jail system. When I was with my son talking, he was in Manhattan. I said, you see all the white people here in the streets right here? I said, none of the white people are going to be in them jails. I said, you might see some of them working in there, but the inmates in there are not going to be white people. It's going to be black people just like you. Just like you, waiting for you to fail so they could put you up in here, so they can make money off of you. So they won't give black people the opportunities to make money legitimately. But they allow the immigrants to do so. They give the immigrants all the necessary license to do so because they're immigrants. But the same black people in America, New York, who built New York, they won't allow you to do it. What a piece of crap government and legal system. They try to say that New York is an example, a model for other cities to live by. New York is the worst example for any other government, city, or local government, national government, or city to follow. New York is full of crap and full of problems. They had some statistics came out the other day that in New York, 200 police this year quit their job. I was like, that's good. I was like, that's good. That's good. But it shows that your law enforcement and your legal system and your government is falling apart because you want to do the necessary changes or the necessary things to make positive changes. You don't want to do it because you're following a racist, white supremacist system, whether it's from governing, whether it's from economics. It is the white supremacist system. So you're not going to do what is correct. Correct violence in the street. Is there people shooting, doing crime because there's no opportunity for business or growth or financial growth for this person. So if they can't vendor in the street legally, if they can't get certain type of jobs or type of skills, there's not there in the community being taught. And for the few who have the money to do so, they have to go through all the red tape. If they don't have this opportunity, for sure, they're going to commit crime. For sure, they're going to kill each other. They're going to fight each other over the little money scraps they could get, even if it's illegal. Even if it's illegal. So what you have to do, you have to set socially, social justice, economically, fix the crisis, fix the issue, but they can't because the system, economic system, is controlled by whites in the white supremacist capitalist way. Capitalism in America wasn't put there for non-whites to benefit from it. So the system is working how it should be working. The system is working how it should be working. And that's just my piece on this subject, because I hear a lot of people talking about it, you know, economics, black economics, power, empowering oneself financially. You hear the Democratic Party is talking about they want to do this, do that. They ain't doing nothing. And they're not planning to do anything. We have to do it for ourselves, but we have to start pointing out and looking at it. Look at the double standards in America, especially when it comes to black economics, even where black people live in black communities and neighborhoods. They don't control the economics. And the people there who's making the money off of them are non-black people. They need to have set up that certain percentage of the business that's in the black community needs to be black owned, And black people need to start charging in their black community. These people who are non-black, profiting and taking money out of the black community, you need to start charging these people black taxes. Black taxes. That's right. You tell them that you're gonna close down their shop. For example, if they're not able to supply a certain amount of people in the neighborhood with jobs, you're going to shut down their shop. You're going to boycott them. If they don't hire a certain amount of black people or people who live in that community, they don't hire, you're going to boycott their stores. You're going to shut it down. You're going to stand in front of the store and make sure nobody go inside, or you're going to close the store. And if they want to call police, we just all got to fight. And when it all come out in the news, why these people are fighting, you just gonna say this store don't hire black people who live in the community, and that is illegal to do. Start putting these peoples on spot. These greedy, capitalist, money hungry, racists. Put them on spots. Put them on the spot. Make them start paying black taxes, not just hiring black people who live in the neighborhood. They got to give back to the black community. Make them pay every school year. All the black kids, make them come out and buy backpacks, school supplies, school clothing. Make them do it. Make them do it. Make them hire black folks. Either or, that's going to push them out, push them out, push them out, or they're going to have to comply. And then when you're working for these peoples, you don't need to go to no college degree, no management. And while the black folks work for these people, learn how they operate their business and manage their business. So once you be there for about 6 months to a year, you got a good understanding how to do, how to manage a business. Then start your own business. Start your own business. You take the people who work in there, then start your own business in your own community and start practicing community economics. Somebody's gonna have to make sacrifices. If black folks don't start thinking like this and making these type of sacrifices, then we know we can't complain when these people don't hire us. We can't complain. If you're not ready to make sacrifice, and that means that's real love for each other. If you're not ready to do that, then you can't blame nobody else but yourself for the conditions that we are in, because you're not ready to make any sacrifices. You're not ready to go out there and fight. You're not able to go and boycott these places. Then we're gonna have to say then that's a psychological issue going on with our people. And I will end on that note. But I want to thank all my subscribers. Now we have 1,600 on this channel. Alhamdulillah. Hopefully it will get to around 2,000 inshallah. And please like and share. If you like and share this video, see, my channel is not monetized. I forgot to mention that. I don't make money off of YouTube. My videos are not monetized. My channel is not monetized because YouTube don't like me talking about black social issues. So I'm not allowed to monetize. So I don't make money off of these videos. I want to make that very clear. I don't make no money off these videos. Not even a cent, not even a half a cent. So if you want to support me, you can always go to my Cash App, which is right here, or hit me up on PayPal or on my Cash App, which is $ on Cash App, $ Islam Finance. That helped me produce and keep things up for the channel. That help me produce and keep things up for the channel. Right now, I'm working on two books, inshallah. The one of the book is for my personal studies, is about seeking Islamic knowledge, and the reality of unqualified or pseudo scholars, how it affect Muslims by learning from unqualified people. Right. This is a book I'm working on, Sheikh Fawzan. I'm almost finished with it. And then my second book, which I put up a couple of pages of it already on my Facebook page. You can follow me at Abul Bara Muhammad Amriki, how my name is spelled here. You can find me on Facebook. I have posted about 2 or 3 posts about Islamic economics, and how Islamic economics can help African Americans deal with systemic racism, and exclusion from finances in America, how we could use Islamic economics to empower the people in our community. So if you want to hear or see what I wrote, just go to me at Abu Bara Muhammad Amriki and click like and shit. Like I said, I don't get no money off of these videos on Facebook. Facebook don't like my topic. Matter of fact, YouTube and Facebook don't like my channel. YouTube and Facebook. YouTube and Facebook. Facebook, I cannot even boost or do any advertisement on Facebook. They told me about 3 years ago on Facebook that, oh, I am a political party. They asked me to give them some documents, which I did to show who I am. Then they said, oh, you're considered to be a political party. They don't want me to post ads. So I don't know. Facebook is a FBI book. We already know that already. So if you want to help out the channel, either support the products that we produce. I have on Black American Muslim Opinions Facebook page. I have one of my books about Ramadan, about ins and out of fasting of Ramadan. That's on Amazon. You could pick up that book also. Just put my name, Abul Bara Muhammad Amriki, on Amazon. You can find the book. And the next two books, when they come out, they're going to be on Amazon. They're going to be on Amazon on paperback. All right. Amazon paperback. And one of them, the one about Islamic economics, is going to be on Amazon paperback and Kindle. So if you want to know about when the book's going to come out or whatever, if you have an Amazon account, you just can follow me on author page on Amazon. And thank you.